Alright, everybody. Okay, so hey everybody. This is gonna be a more serious video here, and I really hate to make a video like this. I've never felt the need to make a video like this, but something's been really just aggravating the crap out of me, and it just really is bugging me, and it just needs to stop. So, anyways, this is kind of gonna be, I've never felt the need to make a video like this, but at the point things have been going at lately with how things have been going, I just really need to get this off my chest because it's just really angering me. And I mean, it's just unacceptable. And with this all being said, if you guys have commented something by now, please delete it. I'm just advising you. But yeah, please watch this whole video and also yeah, watch this entire video before commenting, okay? All right. So here's what this video is going to be about. Yes, I am getting a lot of crap, and quite a few people have been attacking me lately just because I dislike KONE, okay? Now, and modernizations as well, and also certain types of elevator buttons. Now, and also, I also wanted to make this video because some of you guys, I know some of you just simply don't understand why I dislike KONE or hate them. Um, so anyways, I'm gonna first, start with, let me pause here real quick. Alright, here I am back. Yeah, so this video is mainly going to be about why I dislike KONE and why I don't like Ecodiscs and stuff, and why I don't like, generic elevator buttons or modernizations, and also, it's also, hopefully, I mean, I know this probably won't stop it, and I bet this video is probably going to anger quite a few people, but it really needs to be said, so anyways, here we go. Alright, so I'm gonna first start talking about why do I hate KONE, or why do I dislike KONE. Okay, so the reason I don't like KONE is, to me, a lot of their elevators, it's really just the American ones, to be honest. Like, the ones in Europe, Asia, and Australia, I've seen some videos of them. They actually don't seem bad at all, actually. But the ones here in the United States, most of the ones in Canada, and also the ones in, like, Mexico and a lot of the American countries, they just seem incredibly cheap, and I just particularly don't like them. Now, some people will say they run well, even when I film one and say it's bad or horrible, and, some people will say that some of the noises or things I describe about the elevator aren't bad, it's just, whatever, but anyways, so yeah, I don't like KONE, they just feel cheap. Whenever I've been on one, a lot of times they just feel really weird when they ride, like, they just have kind of this weird, they either feel weightless, they kind of, like, when you ride them, and or they feel like, they just feel rough and bumpy and just cheap, and the walls of the cabs, a lot of times they just use boring, ugly, generic parking deck style cabs, and also, there's also, they just feel very cheap, all of the walls, doors, everything just feels super thin, and as for the buttons, they just feel cheap too, they feel kinda rubbery feeling and plasticky, and, depending on which KONE button you're talking about, there's the KSS line, there's, designer and all of that kinda stuff. I mean, 370 and 500 just feel, like, all rubbery and plasticky. 570 is okay, but 140 still feels like plastic even though it's a, a vandal-resistant fixture. Now, the ride quality on most of them just isn't particularly that great, in my opinion. A lot of times, they just either run super rough and bumpy, or they're just, again, they feel like you're in space or something. They just feel weightless and they don't feel like you're actually in an elevator that's moving up and down. It just doesn't feel right in my opinion. Um, and also, like, again, I just don't really care for the buttons and stuff. And the cabs, a lot of times they just look and feel really cheap. And to me, um, now the Ecodisc system, I did hear that it actually is very linear and only uses one moving part or something. But when I looked at it in person, I've looked at a couple Ecodisc motors in person, they literally looked like plastic you'd see in, like, a children's toy, okay? And a lot of the parts they use to make the Eco Discs are made in China or Mexico or stuff like that. Now, a lot of modern elevators, to be quite honest, modern elevators suck in general, okay? Now, there are some modern elevators I like more. Like, I do like most stuff by Schindler, and I do like almost all new Otises. Like, I don't love them, but, like, I do like them for the most part, except for stuff like Hydrofit and, stuff like that. And honestly, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Synergy either. To me, it's better than the EcoDisc, but I'm not a fan of ThyssenKrupp's Synergy either, or Endura MRL. But Endura MRL and, Hydrofit MRL, those are another story. Here I'm mainly covering KONE and some of the generic buttons, and I'll probably mention Synergy too, but anyways, even though the EcoDisc motor may be very linear, a lot of times they just don't really particularly run that smoothly or that well or great. I mean, I get like they creak and they're trying to make them all energy efficient, because here's the thing, like, EcoDisc is the most energy efficient elevator there is, okay? And, they're definitely, it's got the power to be a great concept, definitely. The problem is, a lot of times they just feel cheap, they break a lot, and I'm also going to mention the controllers are super glitchy. Now, as for breaking a lot, have seen several. There's several in my area that break a lot. Now, it could also be maintenance too, but my local mall, they got 3 Ecodiscs in a parking garage there, and almost every time I go there, one of them is almost always broken. And one time I went there, almost all 3 were out of service. And also, a lot of other elevators in that mall are horrible as well. I mean, generally, malls have, like, poor maintenance, but I've also been in some places that also have not so that, have Kones, but have great maintenance. One time, before I was on YouTube, I stayed at a Fairfield Inn, and that place, they got great maintenance. It's a Marriott, but those elevators, that thing broke down one of the times I stayed there. I haven't filmed that place or a tour of that place. Um, it's in southern Georgia, I'll let you know that. But yeah, for me, I just think Kones are just pretty horrible. They just don't seem to be that particularly great. And honestly, I don't really like Kone Hydros. Those have been discontinued now. But the Ecodiscs, they just don't sound particularly that great. And they kind of sound like ThyssenKrupp Isises. And, yeah, I also have met some Otis techs and, um, Cruppy techs and even some Kone techs, and they'll tell me how awful Ecodiscs actually are. I mean, here's the thing. I make my opinions, like, part of it is just how I see it, but it also has to do with, you know, what I'm told and what elevator companies or what the place I'm if I'm able to get in touch with people that actually, you know, work in the building or own the elevator, then I'm gonna also base my opinion off of that. Now, anyways, yeah, a lot of times also the controllers, they are super glitchy. Now, I've seen a video of one where the button would, like, light up when nobody pushed it, and it just called an elevator, like, really? I mean, really? That's just so weird, and it makes the elevator look like it's possessed. I mean, it just does, and, um, also, I've also seen some lanterns on some of them light up when the elevator's not there or for some odd reason, and a lot of times the controllers, they're just really just laggy, and there was this one that Jim Lee Elevators filmed that, when he went to a certain floor, the indicator did not say the floor he was actually on, and, you know, to me, Kone's, they're cheap, they're unreliable, and they're just generic, okay? They're just very generic and boring, okay? I mean, now, they're not, like, horrible in a loving way. Like, they're not horrible, like, you know, in a charming way. And when I say that, like, ThyssenKrupp Isis is a pretty cool model, even though it's so horrible, you know? Because, as you know, there was that elevator crash with a Isis in Seattle, which ultimately killed the ISIS, but, I mean, if you ever get to find one, I haven't yet, but from what I've seen in the video, it seems like a very interesting model. I mean, you know, I would like to ride one of these days. Hopefully I can. Now, and you know, and some people, you know, like I personally also am not, you know, like I just don't know what to say now, but like there's some people that like US and Montgomery for their coolness, but think they run awful. Like, I don't see anything wrong with them, but some people do. But you know what? Some people still think they're horrible, but still love them. But I don't get that with Kone. To me, they're just a generic modern elevator with no character whatsoever. And, um, yeah, I just don't particularly like them. Now, another thing, the brakes on them. Now, if I'm not able to really tell if the brakes are a good or a bad thing. Some people say the reason the brakes are loud is because the motors in the shaft, the brakes are really strong and they're supposed to stop them hard or something. And I kind of believe this, but I've always thought it's because they're just simply cheap. Um, but, like, you know, like, I've heard that they're loud and they're kinda like roller coaster brakes, and, you know how roller coaster brakes, like, they tend to, when they apply, they're really loud and make a lot of noise to slow the roller coaster car down? Well, that's kind of, I think, what it may be with Kone. I'm not entirely sure, but that's why I've decided to give those brakes the roller coaster brakes, the Kone roller coaster brakes, because I mean, if they're really doing their job, they just sound like roller coaster brakes, where how they stop, you know. Um, but yeah, I've also discussed this with a few Otis guys that work on many elevators. Like, here's the thing, I'm pretty good friends with someone who works from Otis that's based in my area. He's based in Orlando. And he told me that he thinks Kones are junk, and he says that he hates having to maintain them, and that they use the ropes similar to what you'd find in a ThyssenKrupp Isis, and the ropes are just thin and they're just very poorly designed, you know. And I personally, I know some of you guys like Kone and some people like Otis and dislike the other brand or whatever, but I have more faith in Otis personally and don't really trust Kone. Again, I'm sorry. I know a bunch of people are gonna hate me for this, but I just don't like Kone. I just don't care for him. Now, yeah, I've met a few Otis and ThyssenKrupp techs that tell me how cheaply made and, how bad they are and how they like to break and stuff, and, I just listen to what they say, they're the real experts, like, not trying to put anybody down, but Diesel Ducey Andrew, I mean, he's a cool guy, but when I consider an expert is someone like someone who actually works on an elevator or installs or builds them, not someone who just makes videos, like, I mean, sure, he and other people probably know more about elevators than, an average person, but an expert is someone who works on elevators. That's how I see it. Also, anyways, now for the second topic I'm going to bring up. I just mentioned why I don't like KONE. Oh yeah, one more thing regarding me not liking them. Another thing I've noticed, and I know this is gonna sound incredibly weird, but, and some people say that, and I mean, KONE is just technically doing their job because, whatever person sent them to upgrade their elevators or replace them or whatever, but I personally, if you know me well, I love original, vintage, ancient, antique elevators with their original buttons, equipment, relays, epic motor sounds, and all of that kind of stuff. And, um, there's been, within the past 3 years, I may even make a video about this one of these days, but within the past 3 to 4 years, there has been lots of elevator destruction, and by that, destruction and death by modernization, replacement, or demolition. And I know, I can name several places that had vintage Otis or Westinghouse elevators, which are my favorite kinds of elevators, that have now been destroyed by none other than KONE. Like, I gotta say, like, for example, and I know they're doing this because they're doing their job or whatever, but it's still something that gets on my nerves because it just feels like they're the ones destroying everything, and ThyssenKrupp too. And, I'll name a few examples. Some of these know of in person, some of them I've never been on or anything, but I know of a historic hotel that had a bank of Otis touch sensitives with wooden cabs and everything, and they were all gorgeous and beautiful, and then KONE, they were all ripped out and replaced with a pile of Ecodiscs. And also, there was also a hotel in Memphis that replaced their Otis touch sensitives with Ecodiscs that just looked super generic. And then there's also this famous hotel near St. Louis that had Westinghouse Selectomatics that also replaced by KONE. And also, there's also the famous Renaissance in Nashville, which got rid of their well-running Dovers and got replaced with 27 or 28 floor KONE Ecodisc quote-unquote death traps. Because they are just rattly and shaky, and yeah, so I just listed a few places that had cool elevators that were ruined by them, and when I see an elevator get ruined, it just kind of gets on my nerves, it really does, you can't do anything about it, but it just gets on my nerves, it just does, and I just like cool elevators, and we all know about the Chewies at Roosevelt Field. Those were like a one-of-a-kind, and even though there's many imitators out there, um, only those elevators were the most famous Chewbacca's, and really considered by many as the only Chewbacca's, and they replaced those beautiful glass Dovers that had epic motors with just generic parking deck tin can stainless steel Kones. And another thing, I've actually messaged a few people that have gone to that mall apparently there's been 10 instances at least where both of the elevators there have been broken, and they'd have signs directing people to use the Schindlers or other elevators in the mall, or one of them's just out of service, or a lot of times, Again, like, I've never been there, and I do know Simon's notorious for poor maintenance, but, and about one of the places I mentioned that replaced their elevators with KONE, 2 weeks after I filmed the elevators at this place, the place I'm referring to is the, Chateau Frontenac Hotel in Quebec City. That's the place that had, the beautiful Otis touch sensitives and Lexans there that were gorgeous with the wooden cabs and brass handrails and COPs with the mint condition fixtures, and ran well. They were beautiful and whatnot. And unfortunately, though, I made it a few months too late, and all but one of the service elevators was replaced by KONE. And 2 weeks after I was there, according to Instagram, one of the new KONEs broke, okay? I just see them as being cheap, and I just don't particularly care for them, And, yeah, so that's it for my reason why I dislike and hate KONE. Now, the second part, why, is gonna be about some of these people getting on my nerves and how it needs to stop. Alright, so now for the second part of the video. Okay, so now, excuse me. Now for the second part of the video, this is something that is really getting on my nerves and it needs to stop, okay? Alright, so lately I posted a video of the elevators at the hotel I stayed at when I visited Asheville, North Carolina back in September. It was the AC Hotel in Asheville, and so anyways, about that hotel. We, did not have a particularly good experience there. I mean, the place, like, the elevators, here's why I didn't like them. I mean, it was brand new, only like 4 or 5 weeks old. One of them broke down just like, not long after installation, which I find to be rather pathetic. And also, the, they just don't run well. I mean, the ride quality is actually pretty good. Some people were questioning me about that. The ride quality on those is not bad whatsoever. The issue it has is, even though that elevator may have ran well as far as quality goes, the motors and the equipment are already breaking down and showing signs of wear already, which is not good for a new elevator. And keep in mind, I mean, this is not just a KONE thing. I mean, I've actually know of another elevator that runs super smooth. It was an Otis Lexan. It's south of the border, and that thing breaks constantly, yet it runs so smoothly. And also, Lexans are, like, light years ahead of KONE as far as quality goes. And honestly, vintage elevators in general are far better, okay? And, you know, um, but that place doesn't take care of it, okay? But the thing is, this KONE is owned by a hotel with good maintenance. I mean, it's a Marriott, and it was brand new, yet the indicator on one of the elevators on one side doesn't work. The in-car lantern wasn't working properly. It just kept lighting up diamond shapes. And also, the elevator was already breaking down. I talked to the KONE guy who was working on the elevator the first day I was there, and he said that he couldn't get to that place because the Asheville division of KONE is just really small, and he had like 10 other phone calls of people complaining about malfunctioning Ecodiscs. So, yeah, that's another reason I dislike KONE. And, also, um, and also, he was also telling, also some hotel staff was complaining about the elevators even, and, that place, those elevators, I mean, it's not all KONE's fault. I didn't like the elevators there, but it's not all KONE's fault. I mean, I do think it kind of is, but it's really the contractor choosing KONE. But, like, the real thing is, that place had no separate parking elevator and no, service elevator. Both the staff and the guests, both people who are all dirty and cleaning the rooms, and people left are dressing up to go to the fancy rooftop restaurant on the top floor of that place. Like, literally, they are using the same 2 elevators for 10 floors. Like 4 or 5 of parking, 4 or 5 is hotel space, and the top is being the restaurant, and no separate express, service, or parking elevator. That's just unacceptable, and the architect honestly needs to go back to architecture school. Okay, that was kind of a joke there. But anyways, we had to wait 11 minutes for an elevator one time. So for all of you guys complaining, saying there was nothing wrong with those elevators and stuff like that, give me a break. We had a horrible experience with those elevators. You weren't there. You weren't staying at that hotel. It was me who was. And I was just trying to share my experience. Yet you guys, some of you guys, just love to attack me and give me loads of crap just because I was just sharing my experience and why I didn't like those elevators. And also, for the record, that hotel replaced an old garage from the 60s that had an Otis Black button, which is far nicer and better quality. Um, and, I just think those new Kones are horrible, and honestly, my hotel experience wasn't particularly that great there. I mean, the place just seems cheaply built. The sinks were only like 1 or 2 inches deep, and I mean, the furnishings and the fixtures in the hotel all were pretty cheap. Um, but anyways, you guys, seriously, some of you, a lot of you guys are cool, and I mean, I'm glad that a lot of you guys are cool, but honestly, some of you guys seriously need to grow up, okay? I'm sorry, but you do. Because there are some people who whine nonstop when I say something about KONE or how I like Otis and stuff, and prefer vintage elevators and tell them how much I hate a modernization. Some of you guys just act all mean, and you guys just attack me, and you always say how hateful I am and say I look like an immature, ignorant idiot, and it just really, I mean, really, you guys, I mean, if you don't like something I say or any of my videos or anything like that, how about you guys just back off and don't watch my videos? Okay, I'm sorry I'm raging here, but this needs to be said. And, just back off. Don't watch my videos. If you don't like my videos, don't watch them. Why the heck are you on my channel? And, if you guys really don't like my videos or my opinion on KONE or anything, then you don't need to watch my videos. You can just go away and get out of my life. I'm sorry if I'm being a jerk, but this, again, really needs to be said. And, I mean, you can disagree with me, but do so respectfully, and just be nice. Like, for example, generally nowadays, I mean, I'll admit, when I was younger, I was guilty of this when people, like, would say that, they liked KONE and they disliked Otis. I was a bit guilty of kind of getting back at them, so, I will admit I'm a bit of a hypocrite here, but I mean, seriously, though. I mean, nowadays, though, pretty much what I do, I say I prefer Otis over KONE, or I just say I dislike or hate KONE, but respect your opinion if they say they like it, you know? There's just, you can like KONE. I have nothing wrong with that. What the problem is when you guys just attack me because I say how much I hate KONE, or you guys complain, oh, the company or their techs are gonna see it and they're gonna hate me. And they're just gonna, you know, you just say like they're gonna hate me and that the techs are gonna complain and they're gonna be all upset or offended because, you know, I just said a video and made a video about that company and how much I hate it, you know, or why I don't like certain elevators they've made, you know. And there was also one at the Malaya I rode when that, you know, the buttons would glitch on it, you know, and it wouldn't go up to the top floor. You know, I also had perfect reason to not like those elevators either, you know. Some of you guys complain I have no evidence or anything to support my reason, but I do. And if you don't think it's good enough, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, okay? I, just like a lot of you guys, I have Asperger's. I'm still learning to express my opinions and how I feel. I'm not perfect, okay? But neither are you guys. And you guys honestly just need to learn to respect that my opinion may not be what you like or agree with, and just move along, or either you accept that and enjoy my channel, or you just back off and don't watch my videos, you know? You just gotta just understand that. And I mean, you know, you guys, so, I'm sorry, but a lot of you guys act like elementary school kids who say that if they dislike anything they like, that if someone dislikes or hates on anything you like, you say it's bullying. But it's not, you know? So seriously, you guys just need to grow up. I mean, that's like third grade behavior. And a lot of you guys, some of you guys are in your 20s and you're still acting like this. And I'm only almost 16. So this is just really pathetic. And, you know, you guys, again, you just need to grow up. And, also, I mean, you know, I have reasons to dislike the AC Hotel's elevators, so please, now that I've said, why I dislike them, now quit being a jerk in the comments and quit saying, I had no reason to hate him, you're just a hater that loves to hate, or, you know, just crap like that, or sing stuff like, you are so immature for making this video, and stuff, you know? Also, about the whole death trap thing, and me also joking around when, like, one time I made a joke in one of the comments saying how the brakes literally shot and killed me one time on a KONE. And I also made a joke saying that if I kicked the doors, it would fall down the shaft. I know neither of that stuff would happen, okay? And if it can't, okay? It can't happen. But the thing is, when there's something I don't like, I dislike things with a passion, okay? As as I also have a passion when I love things, you know? And I try to add a sense of humor, and a lot of my viewers, they think it's really funny, some of them, and I can't please everyone, but some of you guys, you just say that I'm immature and that I make the community look bad, when that's not true at all. I'm just trying to add a sense of humor for my viewers that do enjoy the content, you know? And, you know, and also when I do this in some of my videos, you know, when I'm reacting to a modernization or a generic elevator, I do that because some people think it's hilarious and they think it's funny, you know, and, you know, I'm gonna make my viewers happy, and some of you guys who have said that they're gonna try to get people to unsub me and stay away from me, and stuff, you just obviously have nothing better to do but sit your fat butt on your computer messaging people to stay away from me, 'cause you obviously got nothing better to do in your life, I mean, and you just are making yourself look like an immature idiot. I'm sorry, but you really are. And it's just not acceptable. And a lot of you guys say I'm really immature, and you guys just love to judge me because of how sensitive and emotional I can be. Well, guess what? I've dealt with lots of crap in my life. I've lost my dad. I've lost people that have helped me, like I've lost a principal, I've lost someone that helped me cope with my dad's illness and death, and I've also lost one of my aunts too. A lot of you guys just act like emotionless, heartless robots with that have obviously never gone through something like this, or just don't show emotion. And in calling me immature when I'm focusing on trying to get my schoolwork done, and also, I also, have gone through stuff that some 50 and 60-year-olds haven't gone through. I mean, really? If anything, you're the ones being immature, You really are. I mean, God. You guys just need to grow up. I'm sorry. And, you know, I mean, I just don't like it, I mean, I am at a place now in my life where I finally have been able to make friends at school after never having been bullied pretty much my whole life. And I'm also at a place now where, I felt like I've had more freedom in my life and ever. And, and I should be able to run my channel, upload whatever I like, and do whatever the hell I want. And, just seriously, you guys just need to learn respect. I mean, you just really do. And if anything, my life is as good as it could have been. You don't need to correct me or try to get me to do stuff different or make me change or anything. I'm fine, okay? I am not hurt whatsoever. I am having a great life. My life is the best it's ever been. And, if anything, if you think that you need to correct me and what I do and enjoy doing, how about you just learn to back off and better your life and do stuff that you enjoy and actually, do stuff that's important rather than sit all the time and on your computer being a jerk, seriously. And, I get some people disagree with my opinions about, like, elevator companies and stuff, but, you know, it's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it or anything, as I said, and, just be respectful, and when you disagree, and don't act like an elementary school kid. And also, about the whole thing about companies watching our videos, yes, stuff can happen. I'm not denying that. But the thing is people bash Spirit Airlines. There's always debates. It's part of fandom, okay? And there's always people who love to hate on, like, airlines and car companies. There's always people who bash Ford, but, like Chevy and like Dodge, or they like Japanese cars more than American cars, or they like Southwest and they hate Spirit, there's always stuff about that. But have the companies ever come and attacked them for not liking something? No! So, you gotta expect elevator companies are gonna be the same way. And if they're watching our videos and not, marketing elevators or manufacturing them or doing their job, if they're watching our videos, they got better things to do than watch our videos. And if they are watching our videos and not doing their job, which with someone with a job like that was generally really busy, then, they obviously really shouldn't have their job, and they're just, that's the point I'm trying to make. If you think companies are gonna get offended by our rants, more than likely, that's not gonna even happen, And, I just gotta say that I just can't stand it, and while I'm thankful a lot of you guys, respect my opinion and enjoy my videos, most of you guys are cool with me, okay? But there's a few of you that get on my nerves and just piss me off, and this is really what this video is supposed to go towards those people. But anyways, I think I've pretty much cleared out what I needed to say and have ranted and vented about what I needed to rant and vent about. But anyways, I just really thank you for watching, and just take this with a grain of salt and just grow up for those who just won't quit being so nasty to me, and quit trying to control me for what I do. It's my channel, not yours, and just take this with a grain of salt, just show some maturity and show that you're the teens or the adults that you really are, and not a third grader who gets offended when someone dislikes everything they like. Just don't act like that, You should know better by now. And anyways, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and leave a like. I know this video is gonna get some hate, but anyways, thanks for watching, and please subscribe, and um, that's it. Have a good day, and bye-bye. That's all I gotta say now, so that's it.